Hi guys, and welcome to today's episode of the Africa Crypto Show. I know the conversations around cryptocurrency, bitcoins are still ongoing, particularly here in Africa. Today we are discussing the topic, what are the real uses of crypto? And with me to do the discussion is Terence Zimrawa, all the way from Zimbabwe. He is a crypto journalist. So welcome Terence, and right away, I want to ask you this question. Often we hear people say that cryptocurrency is the new thing, it is the future. How true is this and why so?
Well, we've seen from COVID where the world is going. In a few years' time, I think many people would prefer and will continue using online systems, online purchasing, online marketing, online everything, you know. And given that most of our fiat currencies have had, these boosts, you know, this printing of money, which dilutes value in the end. It means we are going to see a great deal of inflation going forward for the next few years. And when that happens, people will realize that now we've been using Bitcoin to make purchases, but now Bitcoin purchases, or what Bitcoin buys, is still the same, but fiat is changing, and that will be a plus, and that will work its way in helping Bitcoin to become part of the mainstream.
All right, Terence, so what are the real uses of cryptocurrency?
In terms of the best use cases, I have to agree that remittance is one of them, although in my own personal opinion, I think remittance is always going to be number one. Why? You know, we in Africa, we've got this large number of own people that are working or living outside the continent, and these guys, they don't forget their roots, you know. So every month or every other time they have to send money back home, but because they traveled and they are living in those countries illegally, just because they fail to get the required documents, they cannot access usual services like banks, you know, money transfer organizations. So what is only left for them is to do things informally, which was before the emergence of cryptocurrencies. So now, because we've got Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies, people are now sending remittances, which in most cases they are not, they don't have to face all these cumbersome and sometimes unnecessary requirements for them to just send $100 every month. Cross-border payments are probably the next important use case for cryptocurrencies. We struggle as Africa. We've got these many currencies, you know. In Zimbabwe, for instance, we are neighbors with Zambia, but we don't trust the Zambian currency. You know, you get that, and they don't trust our own currency. So what then happens is this forces all of us to search for the US dollar, which is sometimes not easily available, and it's only available to, you know, well-connected people. So in a way, this curtails cross-border payments, the type of currency that we use, or because our own currencies are so weak that the other side is not confident that the currency will be able to store their value. So if we have something like Bitcoin, which is universal now, the way it works in Japan is the same way it's going to work in Argentina. The way it works in Siberia is going to be the same way that it works in Central African Republic. So having that as a currency, and when there is enough, you know, people understanding or who appreciate that value can be transferred using Bitcoin, then you are set up for something which is much more exciting. You know, commerce will be enhanced because we are using a currency that is not only universal, but one that can stand the state of, that is able to withstand some of these pressures like inflation, overprinting of money, just because it's decentralized. In terms of e-commerce, yes, this has to be the ultimate. When Bitcoin was created, it was intended to be the electronic cash system for the internet, and already we see this is happening. But for many reasons, the major institutions that are involved in this online marketing and selling of stuff, they still do not accept Bitcoin. But probably that will change, post-COVID. A lot of things are happening. Just recently we had PayPal telling the world that they allow their own customers to start, buying and selling Bitcoin.
So that's very interesting. But quickly, I want to find out from you, how can crypto be used for wealth preservation against inflation?
This has to be the real case for having cryptocurrencies. And I must say, from where I stand, I've seen how inflation can totally decimate, value, or what has taken many people, several years to save, can be wiped out in a few months because of inflation. And now, because all other alternatives of trying, to save the little that they have are sort of closed off. For instance, if you want to buy gold for purposes, of storing value, then you must get a license. And getting that license has its own problems as well. So you'd rather not have that license. But if you are going to do it without a license, there is a possibility that you might actually go to jail for saving your own money. So, but now, because we have Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, you see what that does now. It means people have an option of saying, okay, this is what you've done to this currency, so we are just going to move over to the next alternative. And in the long run, you want to believe that when authorities know that there's an alternative that people can use, to escape their mismanagement of national resources, then that in itself will become a check on them to act or make decisions that are always in the best interest of everyone.
Wow, I like that. But also, cryptocurrency can also be used for social good. Please tell us a bit about that, Terence.
In terms of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for purposes of social ends, or social good, well, there's one example that comes to mind. What is happening in Nigeria, and the stories that we've had there. That there's one coalition, feminist coalition. It's an NGO that is working, to fund and help protesters to keep going. And now, unfortunately, they had their bank account, shut down by authorities in that country. And because of that, it was maybe a way to try and suffocate this organization. But now, fortunately, Nigeria is one of the countries in Africa where there's greater usage of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So it was so easy for them to say, okay, we've had this bank account shut down, but now what we are proposing is you guys, whoever wants to support our cause, can do it by sending money to this Bitcoin address. And I believe after that they are still getting the donations to help things keep going.
Thank you very much, Terence. So that brings us to the end of this episode. But remember, you can win yourself a cool $100 worth of Bitcoins. All you have to do is to answer this question correctly. Give me one real use of crypto.